Hi friends, welcome to another Suqqu video where we are diving into their global summer 2024 collection, or as it's also known, the Sweet Nectar collection. When I saw this photograph, I gasped, and a huge thank you to the Suqqu Europe team for sending me a few selects from this collection. I have one of the quads, and yes, we got them. Two of the new Cream Touch Blush for lip and cheek pots. They are 3 in all, and how I wanted to conduct this video is to go through the details, retail release dates, as well as the swatches and several demos that I take us through, because I wanted to hit as many makeup scenarios as possible with the new Cream Touch Blush, as well as a demo showing the quad that I requested. I unfortunately do not have the treatment wrapping lips. There will be 2 in this collection. I believe, and this is just an assumption on my part, that the 2 shades will be limited edition. The Cream Touch Blush pots, however, are not. This is a new formula introduced to the brand. What we might see going forward, however, could be limited edition shades in the formula, which, oh my gosh, I am predicting something nice for autumn, like getting a terracotta in the Cream Touch Blush formula. Thank you, Suqqu. I'm putting in my request in now. But this entire collection is slated to drop on May 16th. Selfridges, Harrods, Liberty London, Le Bon Marcherie, Gouache. Sorry. And later at Cult Beauty. We do not have a date for the Cult Beauty drop, but stay tuned. Just make sure you're following Suqqu Europe on Instagram to get an update for Cult Beauty. And because these retailers are in the UK, the official time is not definitive because they're, I believe, 6 hours ahead of us. So our time, it might be like 4 or 5 in the morning, where their time will be late morning. If you would like to secure your items, I would suggest that you contact the Suqqu counter at Selfridges, because that is the best way to make sure you get your items before they sell out. And again, although the Cream Touch Blush is permanent, I believe, hopefully that is true. If that is not, I will make sure to pin that update down below in the comments. But if you wanted the signature color quads or one of the treatment wrapping lips, and I think ordering from the counter is easy to go past the necessary purchase threshold for free shipping, so you're not going to have a problem in that department. 2 of the quads are limited edition: 138 Ryu Ichigo, the cold strawberry and deep berry, and the one I have, 139 Natsokogashi, the orange peel and olive brown. It was tough for me to decide because I love the strawberry tone in the matte found in 138, but I could not stay away from this khaki taupey something you'll see later in the swatches. I wanted to get into the Cream Touch Blush because when I saw this for the first time, I was elated. Initially, I was unsure if it was going to be a cheek product, a lip product, or either or. It is for both, and when I found that out, I was beyond excited. And there are 3 shades in all for the Cream Touch Blush. I have 2 out of the 3. SO1 Kamitsu, which is an elegant beige, and Kamitsu, some of these words are not, I guess depending on the kanji or the pronunciation, don't have definitive translations, but I did find out that Kamitsu loosely translates to nectar. The second shade I have is S02 Ichigoame, which is the refreshing red, loosely translates to strawberry candy, which I think wildly appropriate. And the third one I do not have is S03 Kuanomi, the versatile berry. I kind of want the berry because I know berries in this formula can be tricky because it can appear bruised on the skin. I am hoping, however, this formula in terms of the undertone leans more plum red versus plum blue. We shall see. And for the 2 treatment wrapping lip shades, we have 107 Natsu Budo, which is elegant purple, and 108 Mitsukogashi milky orange. Because gashi is also in Natsukogashi, the orange peel and olive brown quad that I have here, I'm assuming gashi kind of loosely translates to orange something. And I have the moisture glaze on in 04, which I wanted to apply for the entire look. that you can see and have an idea of what the wrapping lip treatment would appear shade wise, because my apologies for not having it. I also wanted to pair it against the treatment wrapping lip I have in 03. Now this is described to be a yellow brown, right? If you were wondering how that appears next to the more milky orange, this for me already appears orange heavy in terms of the undertone. So I can't even imagine how more vibrant the treatment wrapping lip in 103, again, Natsokogashi, would appear on the lips. And comparatively so, I believe the treatment wrapping lip is more glossy, whereas the Moisture Glaze is more color heavy, right? That's where I think their characteristics differ. I love both 100%. I think, well, my favorite is still the Moisture Glaze, like, let's be real. But the treatment wrapping lip, an exceptional lip product from Suqqu. The fact that it is conditioning, nourishing, but the tint is immaculate. It doesn't overpower the lip. It leaves behind just a fresh serving of color. And now to have it with the milky orange and the purple, I'm gonna have to get those. I cannot stay away from Suqqu lip products. It's impossible. And the collection also has these two nail polishes, which, listen, I love nail polish. I'm not wearing a lot now because my hands are in water a lot with the cooking and everything, and they are peeling. So I'm trying to rejuvenate them with, of course, the help from our girl Anna over at Salon Life. What can I do without her? I don't even want to think about it. And we're not allowed to order nail polish from overseas because of cargo restrictions and all that, but I can only imagine that it's going to have like that soft kind of watercolor effect on the nails that occurs with the treatment wrapping lip on the lips. That's just my assumption based on the photos that I have here and what I think probably Suqqu official might share the Japanese brand site on their IG feed if they wish to. Now let's get into the cream touch B-roll, shall we? We'll first go into the Kamitsu swatch. And when I first saw Kamitsu, I thought it was going to be more beige neutral, but it actually has a little more color to it. I was expecting something more subtle and was happy to discover that it got a little more orange in there, and I wanted to tap it out on my arm just so you can get an idea of the consistency. It is a dewy product. If I were to read the description here from Suqqu Europe, it says that it's both blush and lip color with a lightweight formula that adds a sheer pop of color or a fresh dewy finish. This is a dewy product. Okay, if you tend to stay away from dewy products because this is not going to perform like Denessa's Blurring Balm Flush line where that's more soft matte, definitely not going to perform like the Final Surgeon Skin Spark Blush Bombs. This is in the category of Pat McGrath's Legendary or Divine Legendary, so many words, Color Balm Stick consistency. But if I were to compare it with the Color Balm Stick, this is a little more tack, and tack does not mean sticky. I just want to make that distinction because that's maybe where your mind is going. There's a little more tack to it, but much more color rich than I believe the Color Balm sticks. And of course, people might have an inclination to apply this cream touch blush formula on with the face. So I tapped it here on top of the Suqqu foundation, unpowdered, and I was surprised with how this blended. I was expecting maybe a little bit of unevenness, but it actually spread evenly and it left behind a beautiful wash of color, and I was happy with the application. Now, it might not be my preferred method. I do like a brush, and you will see me go in with the brush after we apply SO2 here, Ichigoame, the strawberry shade. Again, wanted to tap it out so you could get an idea of the consistency, and this definitely more color heavy than Kamitsu, and I adore the shade. I knew immediately when trying to decide out of the three, I needed this strawberry toned flushed pink on my face because I thought it pairs well with Kamitsu, which is what I did here today. I have Kamitsu here on the center of my face and drew up Ichigoame not only on higher near the hollows, but I brought it around the brown and inwards towards the eyes, right? Because this is the sun-kissed shade. All right, one that you could also pull over the nose if you wanted, dot on the freckles if you're into that. We wipe that off, apply the Suqqu foundation again, and this is what I wanted to experiment with. What if we applied one of Suqqu's pure color blushes on first to maybe see if there's more color amplification. Maybe it kind of brings down the dewiness, bringing it down to more of a demi-matte finish. I underestimated the Cream Touch blush. Cream Touch blush just ate up the Pure Color pigments, and probably largely due, which is why I think the Pure Color blush formula is highly sought after, because it is lightweight. You can build it. It doesn't look clownish on the cheeks. But I do think there's a little more color contribution here. And I did apply it with my Mizuho CMP 510. And this is just a side-by-side. The left slide showing how it looks applied with fingers, and the right is how it applied with the Mizuho brush. I do think there's just a little more evenness of color and a little more color in general when applied with the brush. And again, that is my preferred method. Nothing right or wrong about it. If you wanted more of a lightweight serving of the Cream Touch blush, most certainly you can just tap with your fingers to achieve that finish. And I wanted to turn my head just so you can see the dewiness left behind. Just know, because of this product, it will enhance texture if it is dominating that area of your face. If you have a lot of texture near your nose or here around the apples of your cheeks, that shine will bring forward texture. However, I think the benefit with that is it serves as nice prep if you choose to apply a highlighter stick that's a little more grainy, which is what I did here today. I took one of Suqqu's limited edition shades. My apologies for not having the exact name for this product, but it's basically one of their highlighter sticks, and I'm not sure if you can detect it on camera, but it has that pearl, right? It's not as smooth as like the Universal Balm side and the highlighter duos from Pat McGrath, or even their more Universal Balm shades from this lineup in Suqqu. The dewiness helps to melt this texture better into the skin, and I love that. And I liken this consistency to the Surratt ones as well. I know they recently released the liquid highlighter in the sponge tip applicator, but before that, and I think these are still available, they have the highlighter sticks in the Dior, the Rose, that has a similar texture found here. You can rely on the dewiness from the Cream Touch blush formula to just melt that product better into the skin, and it appear more ethereal and luminous on the cheekbones. And my apologies for not mentioning the blush shade, 08 Momo Dai Dai, I believe a permanent shade from the Pure Color blush line, and popped on again 02 Ichigoame, which a lot more color heavy than Kamitsu. I adore this shade. And again, I do think it ate up the Pure Color blush. Maybe Pure Color blush didn't contribute a whole lot to the finish, but generally, I do think it helps to have a powder product underneath just to help with color amplification a little bit, and also with longevity. If that is your concern, because I understand a dewier product will not last as long as something that's more soft matte, right? Clearly. So that's why I went in with the Suqqu 20th Anniversary Compact, which I think released last January or 2 Januaries ago. If you had something like this, which is like a luminescent pressed powder, and I tapped it over the Cream Touch blush just to take down the shine a little bit, I think this is a nice step to consider. And you don't have to have this exact product. You could have something like the Hourglass, a baked translucent powder with a little bit of color that's not going to take away from what you're applying on top of it. And I do think it just brought down the shine a little bit. Not a ton, because the Cream Touch blush doesn't mess around with this dewy finish. And I love how my skin looks here, despite the fact that I do have texture on my cheekbones and some texture on the center of my face. I think applying a pressed type of blurring powder, I think, can help combat texture and will also help the Cream Touch blush to last a little longer. You could even do the reverse, right? Instead of going in with a powder blush first, you can apply the Cream Touch first and then tap on the powder blush on top. Maybe that will save the color a little bit and the Cream Touch won't eat it as much as it does when it's applied on top. Just something to consider. My apologies for not demonstrating that, but you know. But here is a demo that I look forward to experimenting with. What what if we applied the cream touch blush on top of powder foundation? Naturally, I went in with Natasha's Hy-Glam powder foundation since that's her most recently released complexion product, tapped on Kamitsu, and the dew still comes through, my friend. It's incredible. But when you see the finished product, and I also tapped on Ichigoame just higher on the cheekbones here to create that gradient, even though the final look is dewy as you see on the cheekbone there, I feel, because the powder foundation is a powder and not like a cream liquid in the Suqqu foundation, there's a little more uniformity, I feel, and color richness to the cheeks. And on the left, you see where I first apply Kamitsu with my fingers. And yes, on the right, I did combine both shades. So this is not a true comparison. My apologies for that. But I do think overall that applying the cream touch blush on top of a powder foundation or a powder product is going to contribute to a little more color intensity and also more of an even blend. So hopefully those scenarios kind of helped you decide if this product is for you. If you want to see how this looks on the lips, I have a short applying Kamitsu on the lip as well as Ichigoame if you want to check that out, but I am more than happy to apply it here on camera. This feels incredible on the lips. My goodness, it is smooth, conditioning, easy to plop on, and Kamitsu on the lips just has, again, that softer beige effect that's fantastic for every day. I mean, come on. It reminds me of the cinnamon beige shade from the Moisture Glaze line. And if you want it a little more pink and inky, then I can tap on Ichigoame on the center, right on top of Kamitsu. And that's going to give more of like that flushed effect on the lip. Smooth and silky, but funny, it's not going to have that same dewy effect on the lip as it does on the cheeks. If you want that more glossier shine finish, you definitely would rely on the Moisture Glaze or the treatment wrapping lip for sure. And I can show you that now if I were to go in with 02, the caramel beige shade from the original treatment wrapping lip release, just to get a little more shine here. And you see how that leaves behind more of a glossy finish. However, I think it immaculate to just rely on the cream touch blush. If you wanted just a flush and go, you tap that on the cheeks, tap that on the lip. You could tap it on the eyes, but again, it's dewy, so you do run the risk of it creasing on your lids. 100%. If you don't want it to crease, I would recommend that you apply that first, or maybe you apply a powder eyeshadow first, then you go in with the cream touch blush and maybe more powder shadow on top. Similar shade, so you can still deliver that more soft beige look on the eyes. And if you have 139, you could go in with that shade to tap on top. And we finally arrived at the quad. I know, yes. And again, if you wanted to see more looks in action, you could check out my YouTube short. But I wanted to go in with the khaki metallic first. And if you haven't used Suqqu shadows before, they are exceptional. You just tap these on, and it is not necessary to over manipulate the blending. You don't have to swirl and twirl and be there for ages. You can tap and fluff, as I like to refer to it, and the eyeshadow basically just blends itself, where it appears soft on the edges and just more blurred when you're done with the tap and fluff. And I love this shade because you see here I'm applying it on my entire lid and can just rely on it to be like my smoky shade, but I wanted to go in with the yellow beige, which doesn't show up much on my skin tone. It practically just melts into my lid, but it does help to soften the edges of that metallic shade that I applied. And then I proceed to apply that same metallic shade under the eyes because I love that smoky roundup look, and decided to go in with the orange matte, which by my surprise, exceptional. And I applied it here on the inner corner like I did today. It's not so color heavy that it appears like a shadow or a harsh orange on the inner corner. It's the undertone, I think, just makes it hugely versatile to place it, whether it be on the inner corner or outer corner. It just has beautiful movement on the eyes and plays well with the rest of the shades found in the quad. And for the opposite, I started to tap on the matte orange on the outer lid for our second look. And my goodness, it was laughable. The fact that I'm not even using a traditionally designed blender brush for a crease, I'm using a small shader brush. I whipped it out and it appeared blurred. No trouble at all. And wanted to take the rest over my lid, prepping it for that iridescent shade. This is gorgeous. We've seen this duochrome before, but when Suqqu gets a hold on these duochromes, they just do it in a beautifully elegant, sophisticated way where you're still getting the reflectivity without the heaviness, without the texture on your lids. And I think this is beautiful on top of the orange matte, and went in with the khaki metallic along my lash line to create just a touch of smoke. And what I adore about this color curation is the fact that yes, I am applying it on top of the orange matte, but it doesn't overwhelm the orange. It softens as you blend it, and then the orange peaks from underneath, thus creating just this organic gradient. And here is the final look. I know, stop it right now. When I saw this footage, editing it, and just said, my goodness, this is one of Suqq's best summer collections yet, and the MVP most definitely has to be the Cream Touch blush for me. I know it won't be for everyone, and hopefully I outlined the concerns to the best of my ability, right? In terms of skin conditions, it's a dewy product. You might have to experiment with it in trying to establish the right combination in order to yield the right outcome for you, what you're looking to achieve with your makeup look. I don't mind the dewiness. I think it is just crazily appropriate. The fact that this collection is touch of nectar, you gotta have the dewy with the nectar. Nectar is dewy, right? Okay, and even the consistency speaks to the inspiration as well, and obviously the color choices here. Will I be getting number 3? Probably, just so I can have them all. Oh my goodness, this is what happened with the moisture glaze, okay? And also the treatment wrapping lips. I probably will skip on the second quad. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The reason being is because I do have this lilac quad from pre-summer 24. So I think my berry and strawberry desires have been fulfilled. I have my lilac here in that quad from pre-summer, and I have the strawberry vibe from the Cream Touch blush in Ichigoame. So I understand, however, that the pairing would be out of this world, but I am thrilled with the selects that I have. And again, a huge thank you to the Suqqu Europe team for being generous in sending me PR from this collection. I won't say what you should get, but what I will say is if you are planning to buy any of this, remember 16th is the date. Otherwise, I will leave the email below to contact the Suqqu counter over at Selfridges if you know for sure you're grabbing these products and you want them purchases to be secured, that you go that route. But I am over the moon happy with Touch of Nectar collection, and this is the 4th time I use these products because, funny, I filmed this yesterday, but I wanted to film again because I didn't have my B-roll set up in a way that would take me through what I actually did. So that's why I wanted to refilm, and this makes it the 4th or even 5th time I was playing with these products ever since my YouTube short that I did using it with New Food Day that I have to film with. Can't wait to share that with you soon. Filming it again, who knows how many times I use a Cream Touch blush, but man, it is exceptional. An immaculate product. I am thrilled to see this in the permanent collection for Suqqu in their blush, their cheek category. And who knows what other shades they'll release in this formula. I cannot wait. Again, I predict that they're going to go crazy for the autumn release. They gotta do it. They have to do it, okay? If not autumn, most definitely holiday. But I think autumn would just be the right opportunity to get in the terracottas and the coppers, the yellow gold. There's so much opportunity there. With that said, family, let me know if you have your eye on any of these products, but you know what you're already going to get. I'll see you down in those comments, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you in here again with another review tutorial. Suqqu Cream Touch Blush Extravaganza, New Food Day on the way, and I won't forget my Vizier Attendu ranking. Take care, and I will see you again soon.